How do you grow your pharmacy revenue with telemedicine, central fill, and marketing services? I want to talk briefly about some of the challenges which not some of you, most of you are facing these days with these PBMs and things like that, and everything that you hear on a daily basis, and how pharmacies, basically on a daily basis, a pharmacy or two is going out of business, which is sad. I've been a pharmacist for 43 years. I own several pharmacies, national brands that I grew. I started back in 1994, and I sold them all in 2016, only because when I saw the DIR fees, and I freaked out and I said, this is not going to last. This is not going to be good, which my prediction was absolutely 100% correct. Okay. So I want to talk about market pressure. So, independent pharmacies are navigating an increasingly difficult landscape. True. I mean, think about all the hoops you have to run through to run a pharmacy. I mean, when I had my pharmacy, I was making a joke. I said, what's next? TSA is going to come and visit me to make sure that we're all, have, pre-check. I mean, this is how bad it was. Uh, and also these reimbursements that are declining pretty much on a daily basis. These PBMs are putting the pressure on you, telling you that you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't tell the customer that they can get it for less, and then they come back and say, pay for the product, and come back and audit you a month or two or three later, or maybe a year later. And all that money that you made goes down the tube. On the other hand, what we see, or what we have seen post COVID, is the problem with the staffing. I mean, I know we talk to pharmacists, and we know that these folks are really having some hard time finding qualified individuals, even though there's a whole slew of pharmacy technician schools that, that's pumping out pharmacy technicians and so on. However, to find a qualified pharmacy tech that you can rely on, do things such as compounding, and specifically, it's really hard to find. I mean, you're really not going to find, you can't put an ad in the paper and say, I want to have a pharmacy technician. I promise you, 9 out of 10 people that walk through your doors are not going to be even qualified to even touch a scale, let alone do complex compounds for you. So the success in today's market is moving beyond just insurance-based dispensing. You have to move from just relying on PBM revenue to just cash revenue. And there are lots of ways that we're going to show you how you can generate these cash revenues. And Cole is going to touch upon those in just a few minutes. And all of these involves, number one, you have to diversify your services. What is that? What do I mean by that? I mean, forget about just counting 30 pills, putting it in a bottle and say, I'm done, I made 50 cents. No, you need to provide lots of services, point of care testing, compounding, the point of care, test and treat. You're talking about, home deliveries, packaging, medication reminder, telemedicine. I mean, the list can go on and on and on with these type of things. And most of these involves technology that you have to integrate. And as a pharmacist that's been doing this for a long time, I can tell you that pharmacy is all, when it comes to technology, the pharmacy is always about 10 to 15 years behind. So what we like to do at RX Connection is close that gap. You don't no longer are slave to that, you know, PMS system that still runs on DOS system. Okay, that is absolutely useless. It's just basically a glorified record keeper and a typewriter is all you have. Okay, so you have to move beyond those type of things. Basically trust the system and be able to, you know, move forward with some technology that can truly make a difference. So, what are those services that we're going to be talking about? I talk about the three pillars of revenues. Okay, one is telehealth, central fill, and marketing services. You can't say, well, I want central fill, but I don't want telehealth. Or I want marketing, but I don't want telehealth. Well, if you use all three of them correctly in the way you should be using it, I will promise you that you will definitely start generating a whole bunch of cash revenue as we have with hundreds of pharmacies that we work with. And I can tell you that our number one stores that maybe in Texas or Tennessee or Virginia someplace, you know, I mean, I'm not a salesperson, and I'm not trying to exaggerate the numbers, okay? But you can truly make tens of thousands of dollars a month in net profit if you do this correctly. And I'm talking about tens of thousands net profit, okay? So you tell me if you get a gaining at 10,000, 20,000, $30,000 a month in net profit, okay? I mean, and you say, well, I had, $1,500 in DIR fees. Well, that offsets that a little bit, but you're still not going to go out of business. You're going to stay in business, and you're going to do what you need to do, and maybe work on things that's making you money and stay away from things that are not. And that's exactly what we give you at RS Connection. So telehealth, what is telehealth? Okay. So with our technology that we have, okay, you can sign up, and within 15 minutes, you have a doctor sitting in your pharmacy, okay, that would write prescriptions for any kind of compounded product, and including non-compounded products, acute care, cough, cold, flu, whatever you want, as well as chronic care. Well, everybody's saying, well, I know, but compounding, by the time I get there, what can I rely on? You can rely on chronic care management. You have patients on asthma, COPD. Our physicians would take care of those chronic care patients and would prescribe those medications for them. And again, they're not just, it's not something that they would just click a button and they just generate a prescription. No, they actually take care of the patient like they should at their office. And our doctors are all practicing physicians with offices that they also have, and we utilize other physicians and uh, nurse practitioners, PAs, and that sort of stuff to bring that to you. So then you say, what is central fill? Well, central fill, the only way for those of you who are familiar with central fill, well, great. You know Publix, you know Walgreens, you know CVS, you know Walmart, all of the pharmacies that I just named, they utilize central fill. I make an example. I went to a local grocery store that I get my prescription filled in Orlando, and I know the pharmacist. I say, "Hey, Madonna, how are you? Hey, Merdad, how you doing?" I gave her a prescription for olmesartan, 5 milligram. Yep, I take olmesartan, not a problem. So she says, "Okay, come back and pick it up Wednesday." I said, "Well, you don't have olmesartan back there?" She goes, "No, it comes from our central fill." I said, "You're telling me that if I come in here with olmesartan, I got to wait 2 days so it goes to your central fill and come back to your pharmacy?" She goes, "Yeah." So when do I pick it up? Wednesday. What time? 9 o'clock. Great. So I went there at 9 o'clock on the way home, on the way to work on Wednesday, and just happened that the Publix white van filled with blue totes happened to pull up. And I was looking at it, I said, "Hey, this must be the guy, right?" So they pulled out five, six totes, blue totes of, you know, supposedly prescriptions, walked to the pharmacy, gave it to the pharmacist, and I just happened at that time I got to the pharmacy and I said, "Hey, my medication must be in there." She goes, "Yeah, yeah, give me a minute, I'll pull it out." So I said, "So how does this work?" She goes, "Well, all we do is just take it out of the box, scan it, and hang it. And when I hang it, the patient gets a text message saying, 'Come pick it up.'" Okay. Oh, great. That's nice. Very nice. And I got to be thinking, I'm like, wow, so the pharmacist at Publix, okay, that's where I go. They don't even count pills. They don't do anything. They're just hand over bags to people, check them out, ask you have any questions, and have a nice day, and try to focus on what. That's what CVS, Walgreens, Publix do. Hey, we want you to do flu vaccine. We want you to do shingles vaccine. We want you to do pneumonia vaccine. We want you to do, and on and on and on, you know which is nice. I mean, we go to school as pharmacists to not become glorified pill counters. We want to use our clinical skills. So, bottom line is that central fill is nothing new. But what have we changed in this process? What we have done, we have now have ability that we happen to be lucky enough that I have friends and connections, and we know one of the best 503A compounding pharmacy in the country, and perhaps the largest. And they invest millions, tens of millions of dollars in equipment and product and packaging and everything else to bring that central fill process to your pharmacy. So how does the process work? Easy. Somebody goes to your telemedicine, sees the doctor, and then say they get the dual-acting PDE5 like Viagra, Cialis, sildenafil, tadalafil, apomorphine, whatever the compound may be. They see the doctor. You get a notification that patient XYZ completed a teleconsult. You look at it. You just call the patient up. He says, hey, I see you just completed a transaction, $99. Thank you very much. And your prescription will be here in 24 to 48 hours, typically 48 hours. Okay. So what's happening at that point when that telemedicine is done, you receive a prescription, you collect the money, then you click a button that says claim, and that prescription automatically gets sent to our central fill, the original prescription. Okay. And they open it, they know it's coming from you, they fill it, and put it back in some kind of packaging. If it's a refrigerated item, they send it to you overnight. If it's regular packaging, they just send it to you second day air FedEx. So you'll get it within 48 hours. So when you get it, put it in the fridge, hang it up, just like the other pharmacists did at my local pharmacy that I go to. There you have it. And hand it over to the patient. You already got paid 2 days ago. All you got to do, call them up and say, come pick it up. You can also go promote these services locally. You're not just bound to your telemedicine. Why don't you go and talk to your local doctors? Well, I don't know how to. Okay. We provide you with all the marketing tools you need, everything you need, from brochures, flyers, cards, and we have a whole bunch of stuff that we give you. And I just grabbed one of these cards from one of our members, and this is a card that we made for them. And all you got to do is hand these out to leave at doctors' offices and places like that. And then there's a QR codes, and that's how it starts. Okay, and you can collaborate with gyms, wellness clinics. Other employer groups are big. We know a pharmacy that they're doing a great job with employer groups. I mean, think about going to your local employer and say, hey, I'm a clinical pharmacist. I see that all your, employees are all overweight because I can see them. They're all got big bellies and, everything else. We have a program that can help them, cut some of that fat, and hopefully you can get a discount on your health insurance, right? And the employer would love it. Talk to the HR. And basically you can create these type of program. We can fill in the details for you later. But so there's lots of ways you could be promoting these type of things locally outside of your telemedicine. You could go to a barber shop, leave some of those cards I just showed you for hair loss. People go to a barber shop, the barber says, hey, you're losing hair? Hey, grab one of these, and this guy will send you the minoxidil, tadalafil, whatever you want. They'll send it all to you. Fantastic. So this is how the system kind of falls in place. And we give you every piece of marketing. We even do a website, we do SEOs, we do backlinks, we do Google ads, we can do just about anything and everything to grow your business, okay, profitably, okay? So I'm just going to switch over to our website. Just one second. All right. So we showed you our website. So basically you go in, you start for free, doesn't cost you a dime. You create an account, you get it. What do you see when you get in? You see this. So what's all this stuff? Okay, well, number one, see all this white space is basically our pharmacy AI co-pilot. What is that? Well, if you upload your data, dispensing data, okay, you can come in here and ask any question, okay? Who is my most profitable doctor? Okay. They'll tell you who's your most profitable doctor. Who's your top NDC? How many of these did you buy? How many scripts did you fill last week? How much money did I fill? How much did I make last week gross profit, net profit? It'll give you all of that. Everything is done for you right there and then. You don't need to go be an Excel or CSV expert. Just ask any question you want. And if you don't see the question, send us a note. Hey, man, I just asked what's the square root of prescriptions times two. It didn't give it to me. Can you include that? Yes, we could. And you can see it gives you the answer. Now, you can filter these. And if you scroll down, if you like to see visually things, this is your dashboard. Like a pilot is looking at his dashboard, the gas gauge, the altimeter, everything else. This is what you're looking at. You can drill into all of these data, okay? And actually connect with your patients. So if you want to send to male, female, you want to by age group, you can do whatever and type whatever you want, okay? And send the fax just to that age group for whatever things that you're trying to do. It's that easy, okay? Also, you can upload your purchases. So if you go up to here, okay, you can see upload files. This is, you can bring an invoice from any wholesaler. I really don't care who, okay? You can bring the PDF, upload that in here, and what do you know? It's right here. You'll see what they bought, how much they bought, and everything else. And everything else with prices, it's all kept in here. And not only that, you can see in here all the dispense and purchase data is right in here. You can compare and make sure if you build CVS Caremark for 12 Humira, that you did really buy 12 Humira last year. If we integrate with Liberty software, so if you're Liberty, piece of cake, you don't have to do anything. We'll just let us know and we will connect the API, you're good to go. If you're not Liberty, we do basically, our system works with any pharmacy management system. I'll make the Pioneer RX as an example because that's probably the second most popular software. So in that situation, all you got to do is go to Pioneer, and Cole is the expert when it comes to it. And you can create a report, save it as RX Connection report once a day, every other day. Just create a report, upload it in here. That's it. And all these data that you see right here will kind of like light up, which you can drill into all these different type of data by your bin, PCA, and therapeutics. And if you go to detailed reports, that even, you can dig even deeper into your data, a lot more sophisticated, a lot more information that you can drill into. Like it's not top 200, you can go top 1,000 drugs, whatever, So you can get into, and Medicare 20 maximum fair price is coming up. You can see, okay, what drugs did I feel? That's gonna January 1st, I want to start losing more money. Well, here it is. What do I do? Well, if you click on here, you can see it, and you can get these prescriptions for these patients because this is your prescription number. What you can do is just basically see what the alternate would be and easily send the fax to your physician saying, hey, this, just like CVS, all these big box stores do, switch them from Eliquis to something else. Doesn't matter. Something that's not going to be on maximum MFP. So doctor zip code. I mean, look, this is where your doctors are coming from. You want to reach these doctors? Okay, easy. You just click on the fax, select the template that you want, and say send fax. That's it. So all those doctors that you filled prescription for, okay, say this one, you can buy percentage, by number of scripts or whatever. This doctor had to give you 108 prescription. Hey, definitely you want to send them a fax. Whatever, thanking them, telling them that you need to send you more, whatever you want to do. Same thing with the physician, doctors, patients, by zip code, by bin and PCN number. So these reports are vital to your business, okay? And all of these that I'm sharing with you is what we created when I owned pharmacies. We used it at our pharmacy, okay? This will definitely save you money. So like right now with Medicare enrollment period, you got people that you making, say, negative margin on certain items. Well, reach out to those patients and tell them, hey, man, why don't you switch over to some other plan that hopefully you won't lose money, okay? It's very easy to do, okay? So I'm gonna not bother you with the rest of these. So so it's basically, if you dig into it, you'll see that how beautifully everything is done. Of course, uh, with the Tabula RX, this is also a controlled substance inventory management. So whatever you purchase, that you scan uh, the PDF of the invoice will go into your purchases. Whatever you dispense gets deducted when you put the data in, and then that gives you the report. You can see easily what you have inventory. This is a DEA compliant form. Print it, and you can break it down by 2, 3, 4, 5, non-control, whatever you want. And you can do a biannual inventory every month. That's what we used to do every month. I know it's every 2 years, but we did it every month. We didn't care. We want to have a tight control. Physician reports. You can have, for example, if this is the most number of prescription you filled was from this doctor, when you look at this MPI, okay, if you click on this MPI, come on, it could be due to this resolution of this. You can see what you filled at your pharmacy. You clicked on the RX. Looks like this is not functioning for me here because it could be due to this Zoom call. You can see what this doctor prescribes every day in his office. This you can see what you filled, and these two should kind of match more or less. So there's a lot of inventory. There's a lot of reports in here, and so on and so forth. I won't bother you with all the details. We got into go into telemedicine, and I'm going to let Cole now jump in. Cole, are you still there, or you fell asleep?
I'm still here, Murdad.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to let Cole talk to you about the Expedicare, about the central fill process, and the telemedicine. And I just want to point out that all these products from 503A that I was telling you, it's right here under GPO. So what do you see? You see all the veterinary products right in here. Okay. And then you see all the human meds are all over here. 174 human and about 155 veterinary products. Again, same thing. And Cole is going to tell you about telemedicine and the kind of central fill process, how everything moves from here. One thing that I want everybody to know is that part of the central fill that is a policy regulation by the state is that the originating pharmacy must provide some sort of a dispensing data for the patients that are sending the prescriptions to the central fill pharmacy, meaning that if I'm a pharmacist in the central fill pharmacy and I'm presented a semaglutide prescription, okay, well, I need to know has she had it before? Is she diabetic? Is she on insulin? Did she take in sulfonylurea? What is this guy metformin? What is this guy taking? Okay, and for that reason, the pharmacist can at the central fill has only access, and they can search by, and I'll show you that right now. Search patient. Okay, they select the pharmacy. I'm going to select like this pharmacy. I'm going to say next, and I'm going to put, I don't know, a date of birth. You can put the zip code and then search the patient. If the patient exists, it will appear down in here. Okay. And when they click on this, the patient's view, they can see the patient's profile. That's all the central fill pharmacy needs to see because, again, if you're a pharmacist, you just don't want to fill prescriptions blindly for people, not knowing what the patient's taking or whatever you're filling right now is going to interact with their existing medication. So this is how the central fill pharmacy looks at things. And for that, you have to upload your data. This is a must. If you don't upload your data, if you're on Liberty, we do it automatically. If you're not, the process is very simple. Just create a report called RX Connection. Once a day, drop it in there. That's it. So at any time you send prescription to central fill, the pharmacist is able to look and see, do the DUR for misuse, abuse, early refill, whatever that they need to have, which is good for everybody. So that was just a little thing from my way. And then I'm gonna give the presentation now to Mr. Cole. Go ahead, Cole. I'm gonna share screen. Go ahead.
Sure. All right. Thanks, Murdad. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you guys want to just drop in the chat, make sure everyone can see my screen. I'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah, go ahead. I see it, Cole.
You see it? Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So I want to go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into Murdad's initial, points that he was making about the central fill and the telemedicine, really how these two components work together to create an ecosystem to allow pharmacies to grow new cash business. So down the left-hand side, we click on GPO. we have options. You could either explore our 503A options or our 503B partners. These are all of our partners here. If you click to Olympia, for example, you fill out a form and you would have access to over about 112 sterile compounded medications that's available at a 25% discount through our GPO. So this is actually the price you'd be paying. So if you're looking for peptides, NAD, sermorelin, glutathione, trimix, some of these wellness products, you can source those through this 503B. I believe Olympia Pharmaceuticals is licensed in 49 states. The only state they don't ship to at this time is California, because California is a little bit, so they do things a little bit different over there. For our 503A, if you click on our central fill here, as Verdad mentioned, there's 174 human compounds and 155 veterinary compounds. Now, what I want to do is highlight some of the key medications or the therapeutic classes that I see right now pharmacies are having success with. I'm going to start off with dermatology. So from the BLT down to the percent. This is a great opportunity for a pharmacy to expand offerings and go market to dermatologists. Additionally, if the patient did not have a dermatologist, but they know they want to get a hydroquinone cream or a numbing cream, our doctors would also prescribe that through the telehealth. So there's two avenues now. The patient has access to see a doctor and have the prescription sent to your pharmacy. Coming down dermatology products, just a little bit lower down here, we have one of the most popular products, that is the finasteride minoxidil scalp solution. So, there are entire companies, and that's all they do is the doctors are just smashing the approve button on this compound all day long. Let's take Hims, Happy Head, Atigen, to name a few. Your pharmacy would have the same opportunity, if you don't do any compounding, to have a doctor prescribe this medication and a central fill pharmacy to actually compound it and ship it back to you. Or if you compound this non-sterile medication, great. You get the prescription through telehealth, compound the medication, notify the patient the medication's ready to come pick up. We have a very extensive list in men's sexual health. So combo troches, right? I don't know if it's Hims or Row or one of them. I saw an ad. It was for like an ED troche, and it was they were marketing as like it was like 6-in-1 or 4-in-1. It had sildenafil, tadalafil, apomorphine, zinc, B12, and God knows what else. And I started thinking like,
Kitchen sink.
kitchen sink. Yeah, I
Right.
mean everything under the sun is in this pill to help you be ready when you need to be ready. And I started thinking, I was like, you know what? A blue pill is a blue pill at the end of the day. It all does the same thing. But what they're doing is they're dressing it up, they're selling the experience, and they have nice branding. So your pharmacy could offer the same things that these big, ED telehealth companies are doing, and you would have access to all of them right here. There is a huge market in men's sexual health. If you can even capture a small amount of the business, and to get the patients to go to telemedicine, there's a lot of opportunity to grow cash business in that area. Also, you may have patients or you may even do the ED troches yourself. But this now gives you an opportunity to explore a new offering in sterile. Imagine most pharmacies, maybe in here, don't have a clean room. And so for sterile products, they're either having to outsource or tell the patient to go to another pharmacy. I had a pharmacy in New Mexico. I was speaking to them about a month ago, and they were looking at this list and they said, oh, you know what? I don't know if I could win any business in the Bimix, Trimix, and Quadmix, the ED injectables, but I do know a urologist down the road. Let me give him a call. I said, no problem. We don't have to move forward. Give the doctor a call, see if they're interested. He calls me back the next day and says, Cole, I need to move forward immediately. And I said, why? He's like, well, I found out that this urologist right down the road was having to send the patients 2 hours away over state lines to go get their ED injectable medication Bimix. Now I'm able to supply it through Essential Fill right down the street. So the price is all the same. This is the price that your pharmacy would be charged if they compounded medication. We only have two costs with shipping. It's either $10 or $25 if it needs to be expedited on ice. So coming down overnight shipping. Then we also have some pain gels. So neuropathy, pain creams. If you compound these, great. Our doctors prescribe these. If you don't, now you could have a pharmacy to compound and the telehealth. And now I will get to the most popular prescriptions that are sent through our telemedicine and central fill, which are the compounded GLP-1 injectables. So all of these compounded GLP-1s contain an additive. That additive is glycine, 5 milligrams, in both the semaglutide and the tirzepatide. They have two different vial sizes and strengths in semaglutide, and they have they have one vial size and two different strengths in tirzepatide. So you can see right here, this would be the lowest dose for semaglutide for the patient. This would be the lowest dose for tirzepatide with the patient. Now, the 503A is going to dispense a vial size that best supports the patient's dose. I get asked this question all the time, okay? So you come in, the doctor writes the prescription, let's say it's local, they include glycine, it's going to be sent to the 503A. You're going to be charged whatever the price is for that medication. Now, we do have some reference material if you're curious as to, if I use the telehealth, which vial sizes are going to be given so I know how to properly charge the patient. If you have questions about that, just email us. We'll send you the information. But
Hey, Cole, what was the BUD and the expiration date of some of these drugs?
yeah,
That,
so the beyond use date is 90 days. The puncture date, of course, 28 days with all sterile compounded
that's
product.
an FDA regulation, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
in another thing I want to mention about the compounded GLP-1s, what allows our 503A partner to compound this drug is that it has the additive in it, and there is clinical rationale as to why glycine is being added. For example, the doctor writes this prescription for glycine 5 milligrams, semaglutide 1 milligram per ml, and the clinical rationale is to reduce GI discomfort, preserve muscle mass, something of that sort. If that is not on the hard copy, the 503A will not be able to fill the medication. So if you do want to join our central fill program, we actually have a central fill request
If
form.
I make a little correction there before we get out of this topic, is that our physician is the one that takes the due diligence and makes sure that makes the documentation that the patient would need to take the glycine for GI side effects, because during consultation, they'll ask them if they've had GI side effects, and for that reason, they'll prescribe glycine. Okay, so when you get that prescription, when you want to transfer that to the central fill, the clinical rationale should be included, which that's the only that so you don't make the determination as far as the clinical rationale. It's the physician's job. So our doctors know exactly what to do. So there's no problems for you guys if somebody says, "How do you know that the patient had GI side effects?" You say, "Well, our doctors, that was their job. They already asked the patient, they documented it. You can ask the doctor." Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for adding that, Murdad, because with the telehealth component, right, there's no need for a manual transfer. You would actually be connected, it integrates with the 503A facility. So the script is automatically sent with all the information. If you're working with a local doctor, like let's say you have a local doctor who calls you and says, "Hey, I have patients asking about the GLP-1s. Can you service these patients?" The doctor would actually have to send over the prescription with the additive, the clinical rationale. You would take the hard copy of the prescription and the central fill request form that we send to everyone who joins, and you would fax both of those over to the pharmacy. At that point, they're going to compound the drug. They're going to ship this drug. It already comes labeled. It actually has two labels on it. It has all of the 503A's information. It has additional labeling that says the originating pharmacy, which is your name, your address, and it even says for refills, and it has your phone number on there. That's really important. I've been asked, so if I go ahead and send all my patients the essential fill, what's going to happen? Like, does the 503A, what they need to get a refill? Are they just calling them directly? They're not. We've set up boundaries. The 503A, their job is to compound medications. Your job is to facilitate and work with your patients and providers. So if that patient wants to get a refill, they contact Taylor's Pharmacy directly, they're going to have to say, "Hey, you're going to need to call your originating pharmacy." So I just want to make that distinction because I do get asked about that. So if you guys have any other questions about weight management, feel free to put them in the chat, or you could just schedule a call with one of us, because I do want to touch briefly upon hormones. So besides Men's Health and ED, there is so much opportunity for you to win business with local OBGYNs, right? There's opportunities for estriol, bias creams, bias plus progesterone. all of these you could go and market to a local OBGYN, or let's say it's a family medicine doctor that prescribes these, even progesterone capsules. This is an opportunity right here for you not only to have local doctors writing these prescriptions, but our telehealth program does write for hormones. And as a matter of fact, there's even a feature that makes it pharmacist recommended. So you would be able to make a recommendation on behalf of the patient, have the doctor prescribe the medication, get the prescription sent into your portal, and then have it filled with a central fill pharmacy. So there's a lot of customization, there's a lot of flexibility. That's the goal of this program, because we know that no two pharmacies are the same. They're different markets. They want to market different products. So that's why we offer a full range of products, and you can, mold it and contour it to fit your business model.
So Cole, can you show us the telemedicine, how it sits on your website, and also the two different versions of it, and how a typical consultation goes, real quick?
Sure. So yeah, there's two sides to the telehealth. There's a backend portal that your team has access to, but there's also front end portals. This is where the patient's going to actually begin their journey, and both of them have the ability to integrate with your website. So I'll use an example here from one of our clients. This is a compounding pharmacy in Texas, and they do a very good job of marketing. The patient comes to their website and they click on the word virtual RX consult. This is a custom landing page that's white labeled to them, where a patient can choose these different treatment options and actually instantly go in and start a consultation. Now, this particular pharmacy focuses on sterile products because they have great margins and there's a high demand for these products. So the patient wants to get, for example, Sermorelin or NAD. They click here, they click start an assessment, then they would be rerouted to start an asynchronous consultation directly through the system 24/7. Some pharmacies have mentioned to us that they want a little bit different look and feel to the rather than having a carousel style here, which this is great. There's a lot of customization, but if you're looking to win business with new customers, keep in mind there are billion-dollar companies who are building these landing pages and these sites, and you might be seen perhaps maybe a little bit less credible with a landing page like this. While your regular patients may trust you, we got to think about winning new business here. So that's why we also have, actually, I'll go to it. We got to type in the URL. We have a different, think of this as a different skin, right? This landing page and this landing page are the same thing. It just has a much friendlier or inviting user interface and user experience. It's also
The Google crawls that for your SEO. It's a lot easier for SEOs than the carousel style, because Google doesn't go in your carousel. And this one they do.
So yes, and as a matter of fact, that's a great point, Murdad, because with the landing page here, we do give you a landing page with an identification code that for attribution, of course, but you would have your own custom domain through this telehealth landing page. So all of the treatment options that you select would be segmented into these categories. Patients can choose these treatments. Let's say they're not ready to start, right? And they want to go down the page and learn more about your business, and you want to build some credibility, maybe share success stories with them. If you notice, this is an optimized page to help get that new prospect to convert. Grow with confidence. Why choose us? As a matter of fact, you can go in and edit all of this verbiage in here. If you want to say we don't offer 24/7 support, it's different or whatever reason, you could go in and change this. So it's very individualized to your pharmacy. You could select your top products. Maybe you choose the products that you see purchased the most. Maybe you choose the products that have the best margin, right?
You can change the top product to the monthly specials, right? Within literally 10 seconds, you can change that top products to specials.
That's correct. You would have a back-end portal where you can control all of these different things. Success stories. I cannot tell you, it is so important that if you're in the world of weight loss, or let's just say wellness or longevity, you need to post customer success stories. The chances are, if if I was looking to lose weight and John already lost weight and he did it through this pharmacy and he shares his experience, that might make me feel a little more confident about taking that first step towards a weight loss product or a similar wellness product. So you can go in and add your own testimony. Talk about highlighting some of your key offerings, then how it works, right? So you can come down. Maybe you have a little bit different workflow with your telehealth. Maybe the patient is going to pay prior to starting the consultation. Well, you can go in and edit all that information. Then, of course, we need a way to easily handle objections. That's why we have frequently asked questions all set here. You control this. So look at this as a custom landing page that's optimized to help you really convert with new prospects. It also, in my opinion, it looks beautiful. It's very easy. The patient would click on hair loss. They're going to be able to see your top products. They click on the product. They could see a price. And when they click continue to start a consultation, they're going to enter some information. Sorry, Murdad, I'm using your information.
That's okay. I'm all over the place. Yeah.
And it sends it right to the same location. So whether I use this page and I click here to start an assessment, or I use this landing page, we're all, at the end of the day, we're using the same backend. It's just a different, it's a different site. It's a different landing page.
Except the carousel style, you don't know who clicked on what, where, what their names are. With this one, you'll know who they are, even if they don't finish the consultation.
That's correct. Yeah. So capturing data from prospects who didn't convert is super important for nurturing and retargeting those leads. That's why we added that feature where anyone wants to actually start a consultation, just name, phone number, email, done, start. So this URL right here, if it's custom to you, it would have your pharmacy's name, .telemed.health. You could put this wherever you'd like, right? You could build another website and have it be standalone. You could integrate it with your current pharmacy's website. You could make QR codes that link right to this landing page. So there's a lot of different ways that you can market this. And as a matter of fact, I want to shift gears just a little bit, Murdad, and go ahead and wrap this up with
Yeah, one more thing that I like to mention in here is that, you know, when somebody goes to this page and clicks on sexual health, right? And let's just say they did a consultation for Viagra. Well, some pharmacies just stop at that point. They say, "Well, I just sold, the PDE5 combination to a patient." But in here, you can add over-the-counter items such as nitric oxide, ashwagandha, whatever related product that may be. You can always add this to this site. So when the patient comes in and sees Viagra, they see nitric oxide. They see weight loss, they may see Peptivite. So you can add other OTC items in there that if your credit card company allows, you can integrate just the OTC part of it, okay? So they can pay online. If not, they just basically, it's a cart system. Again, they just request it. You get a request, you call them up, you collect the money over the phone. Because, as you know, most pharmacies cannot accept credit card over the internet, except if they are legit script or VIP certified. That, a lot of you guys aren't. So, okay, go ahead, Cole.
Yeah. So that's another great point, Murdad. Being able to cross sell, right? Maybe that patient is not looking to go for an ED injectable, but they're looking to get a generic Viagra. But they want to, maybe you have a private label supplements. I see many pharmacies doing that now. You could sell a nitric oxide to them. You could do Panax ginseng or some other, super beat supplement that you include in that. So it's an opportunity to upsell, but also maybe consider branding it and private labeling. I love to see when pharmacies do that. So I digress from there. We talked about the telehealth. Now,
All right.
you have a central fill, you have a telehealth. If you don't have marketing, no one's going to buy it, right? So I want to touch briefly on some marketing strategies that I see very successful within the pharmacies, and I'll share this with you. Pharmacies who get our telemedicine program, they get our central fill, they're set up, and some of them say, you know what, I'm going to go get multiple state license. I'm going to go start running paid ads. I've seen pharmacies unfortunately spend a lot of money that didn't really generate a lot of results instead of them just starting with their current patients, right? That's who you should be marketing to. The one you can get very inexpensive cards or bag stuffers or flyers or sell sheets that be customized and just put them in every bag that leaves the store. Here, I'll show you an example of it. If I go to GPO, I go to print marketing. Right under here, we have a section for custom marketing materials. Some of the most popular items purchased would be, of course, a flyer, a card with a QR code on it, and also a bag stuffer. For $29.99, we'll make you a custom flyer. You can go get this printed locally, call, find the best place in town. But now you're communicating your offer and you have a clear call to action. This QR code could link right to that landing page. Maybe you have patients right now who use you for their prescription medications. Maybe they're generic or some basic brand name meds, but they're getting their lifestyle compounds from somewhere else because they don't know you offer it. So this is a very cost effective way to market to your current patients. And I do have some pharmacies say, well, most of my patients are Medicaid and Medicare. They're not willing to pay cash for these lifestyle medications. I still think it's worth exploring that offer because there's a lot of patients who, a year ago were sitting there complaining about their copay of $10 at the point of sale. But as soon as your pharmacy started offering 503B product for GLP-1s, they magically had $299 to spend. So I would encourage you to continue to market these lifestyle medication therapies and not just through print marketing, but also digital marketing. So having ways that you can segment your patients, your patient data, be able to do SMS campaigns, being able to do email like newsletters. I'm seeing a lot more pharmacies send out like an end of the month newsletter highlighting new services, products, information, just keeping their patients engaged and digitally. And also, if you want to break into the lifestyle compounds game, especially in your local market, it's really important that you have a website that's optimized for search engine optimization. There are med
So
clinics.
Cole, where else can we go? Some of these folks may ask, well, where can I go and try to market myself locally? Name some of the places that I can go and knock at the door and say, hey, you know what? We got GLP.
So
Some of the
yeah,
success, give us some of the success stories, I guess, you know?
so we have a pharmacy not too far from our office, and you probably know who I'm talking about, Murdad, who went up to a more affluent area of Orlando and started basically going door to door for all these salons, like hair salons and nail salons, left their cards, said, hey, we offer a compounded GLP-1s. I know they've been a little bit harder to get lately. I have a really good price. You can even scan the QR code and start a consultation. Well, since then, he's been doing great. He's having to go back in and send someone to go refill these cards every month or two because the ladies at the hair salon, they're all picking up, doing consultations, even sharing it with their friends. So that's
Cole,
a
I want you to touch upon that one pharmacist that we have. You don't have to name it, but you know they have some kind of a working relation with employer groups. You know who I'm talking about that do a ton. I mean, when I'm talking ton, he does a ton of business with GLPs and other products for health, like wellness.
Right. So yeah, there is a pharmacy in our telemedicine network who has gone and partnered with a employer group that works with first responders. So um, officers, firefighters, and has a specific program name that these members know it by, and they get a discounted rate on their compounded GLP-1s. And this pharmacy launched the program not too long ago, and their monthly count of prescriptions has pretty much doubled. So all that to say,
To say the least,
to
right?
say,
To say
yeah,
that.
to say the least, I mean, they're doing very, very well. So
Yeah.
sometimes you got to get creative, right? Whether you're marketing to your current patients, you want to go win new business, you're going to need tools and technology. And this is something that, Murdad had on one of our first slides. It says you're going to need an ecosystem to make all this happen. That's exactly what Rs Connection offers to your pharmacy. So if you do want to dive in more, see these, some of these other technology programs in action, just encourage you to visit our website right here and just click schedule a call, this blue button, schedule a call with myself, Murdad, or another team member. We'd be happy to talk one-on-one.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you, Cole.
Yeah.
So, as Cole was explaining, basically, we give you everything you need. Okay, we give you everything that a growing body needs in order for you to grow your business. That includes anything and everything. It's all right on the left-hand side. Well, it'll be regulatory, or there'll be, telemedicine, whether it be this and that. But one thing that I just want to touch upon really quick is our Cost Plus program. Okay. And this is not Mark Cuban Cost Plus. This is not anybody else's Cost Plus. This is your Cost Plus. And I like to brag about myself. I was the first pharmacist in the nation, and before there was Cost Plus, there was my pharmacy's Cost Plus that grew in all 50 states. Started back in 1999. So for those of you who've been a pharmacist before that, there was no such thing as a Cost Plus in 1999. I introduced Cost Plus, and that's how it helped us grew into all 50 states, and we were doing tremendous amount of business. Now, what is this all about? What this is all about is that we'll give you a cost plus that you can go and add whatever medications you want, whether you got the animal meds that you have or the human meds. So you have two separate portals that you have for the doctors. So if I go into here, I'm sorry, like I can't see this. This camera's right in front of it. Okay. So if I go into here and I say, RX connection dash vet, there you go. You have a portal for the veterinary patients and oops and for sorry, I pressed two buttons over here, or for the clinic. Okay, so when the clinic, if a doctor logs in or whatever, they can see all the medications that you have on your car. Let me get rid of this here. Sorry, I got this camera right in the middle over here. So all the medications that you have on your Cost Plus will appear into here under veterinary. And if it's for animal meds, it's easy. All those 155 drugs that I just told you, it's all right in here. All you gotta do is click on the product, for example, and just fill in the blanks and calculate the cost. It even gives you what the local price may be. And that's it. You add it to your medication. It's that easy. You don't need to type anything in. And then you go to your doctors and say, hey, Dr. Vet, yes, how can I help you? Well, you know what? We have a Cost Plus program. Well, how does it work? Well, the way it works is that, just go into our website, and I can give you one of our members' website just to say, sorry, this camera's here. It's crazy. It's right in the middle of it. I'm going to uh, give you a typical pharmacy. Here's our member pharmacy. It's a Cost Plus. Okay, they have a Cost Plus vet. See, they have a portal here that they can the doctor can connect, and also one for doctors. Okay, I don't know why it didn't show up, but anyways, you have two portals. Okay, one for veterinarians and one. No, sorry about that. Let's see. Let me show you somebody else. That may be under construction, I think. So this one over here, you got, Cost Plus. And if I go into here, this is where a doctor would come in and click on providers. And this is a doctor. They can log in, or they can go to the animal meds and click on the doctor. They can create an account. And now the doctor have access to all the medications that you have on your, let me close this up, on all of your Cost Plus. So all these products, whether it be for humans or animals, separately, of course, they're not all intermingled, will appear in here. So what can the doctor do? Easy. They can select the drug, they can see the price, and right from the inside of the portal, okay, they can send the prescription directly to your pharmacy. They basically select the patient, type in the medication already populated, they put the quantity, direction, refills, electronically sign it, and say send. And your pharmacy, because this is your portal, we'll get the prescription coming to your pharmacy. All you got to do is fill it. And if you don't fill it, you can send it to our central fill. So this is how this Cost Plus works. And not only that, but this Cost Plus program also provides the veterinarians or the doctor a lot of resources that that the patient can have, like resources such as they can see, like you can put like blood pressure charts, logs, or whatever you want on it, so a patient can download it, use medication reminders. You can put news and information. So I just put LA Times, this and that, or whatever. Well, you can add whatever. Talk about, GLPs. You see a good article, you can add it in here that your patients can read. FAQ, and there's a help center. So again, this is this is not a cost plus. This is basically uh, uh, puts your doctors, your patient, and your pharmacy that levels everything. And also, if they are taking, for example, human medication, there's something called eligibility check. So when the doctor selects the medication and requests this medication, how much will it be for my doctor, for my patient? You will see these under coverage requests, and you can check eligibility right here, just like you would go type a prescription in your PMS, but it's not. It's that simple as you just select a patient, for example, okay? And patient would show up, they see the medication that they requested, and all you got to do is hit confirm the coverage, and you can even check eligibility too, see what insurance they have. And then you will get the insurance price, you see your price, and they see the discount, local discount price. And basically, based on that, you can actually send these to your patients, they send it back to your doctors, and this is how you gain confidence of your prescribers. And I think one thing I like to stress that this program works really, really well for folks who are doing animal meds. And I'm going to show you this card, for example, that same pharmacy. See, they have created a cost plus for veterinary products. I mean, how many people can tell me if you've seen a cost plus program for veterinary products? I don't think it even exists. Okay. So now you can do all of this above and everything else. So I know we're all want to go back to work, and but if you have any question, like Cole mentioned, just schedule a call with us. We'd love to um, connect with you and show you firsthand exactly how things are. And at that point, you can sign up. So Cole, do you have anything else you want to touch upon or no?
I think that covers it, Murdad. We got through a lot of information.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah.
everyone for joining us. And if you have any questions or want to get started, just feel free to reach out and schedule a call.
All right. Thanks, everyone, and we'll hope to hear from all of you soon. Thank you.